We made it. We made it again. They said it couldn't be done, and we said we're doing another stream. We said we're bringing another student developer pack partner on, and we're gonna teach the world about something interesting. And I guess you'll have to decide if it's interesting or not. But that's why you're here, right? That's why I have 2 viewers right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to GitHub Education. I'm PJ. I'm at Metzing Around on pretty much the whole internet. And I'm here to host today this stream. It's becoming a series. It really is. The last time we were on, we did 3 episodes with Open Sauce, and we were talking with Open Sauce about internships, and we were talking with them about how students can find opportunity in open source, you know? And it was a great stream. Please go check out those videos. What up, everybody in the chat? Hello, hello, hello. Today, not only is it a new camera angle, you can see way more of what I'm calling my unavoidable personality. It's not just a new camera angle, it's a new guest. Today, we're talking about not internships. We're not talking about open source. We're not talking about how you can use that to boost your career. We're talking about a very specific, very important thing for a lot of developers. And we're going to talk today about feature flags. Now, when you're trying to choose feature flags, you have obviously a wealth of places you can choose from. But really, we've got one person that we're going to turn to today to do this teaching and this learning for us. And I brought my I'm frustrated mug today, which was a quick story. This was made for me by students when I was still a teacher. And I guess that's what they thought my life was like. And they were right. But coming today on the stream from DevCycle, please welcome, I consider him my very good friend, Andrew.
Oh, hello, PJ. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream of streams. I'm so happy to be here.
This is the energy stream.
This is the energy stream.
We're going to be standing up later. We're going to dance. This feature flags really get us excited.
They do. They definitely do. Yes, the Stream Dream Team.
The Stream Dream Team.
PJ, thank you so much for having me here. And all you GitHub peeps out in the world, all you students out there, thanks for being here, chat. Thanks for being here and watching.
Yes, tell your friends. They're missing out on probably the most exciting stream that is happening at 9 a.m. in the morning on the Pacific Coast.
You know what? It's just a little bit of coffee. Also, I got to say, if you don't know what's on PJ's mugs, Bitmoji, like teachers made those pop. Bitmoji was a.
It was
nothing
every
before
teacher had a Bitmoji. Every single one. Why did we all have it, Andrew?
Because Bitmojis are peak. I've been trying to like replace Bitmoji with something else in my life, but there's nothing that can take that place. Maybe feature flag, kind of, but
it kind of looks like me too. Like if we're gonna get a little close on this one, like it really does. Like that's PJ. That's pretty decently PJ.
It's a pretty.
He looks Puerto Rican, right?
Yes. Is there an option that you can actually set that in? I feel like there is. They had a lot of like very specific things you could do.
I like that it learned, but I bet that in creating Bitmojis and in creating the stuff that makes that happen, I would imagine there were some feature flags involved.
I feel like there were. The feature flags are so hot right now. They're so hot right now. They're so hot right now. Yeah. I mean, so for any of you who don't know what feature flags are, don't worry. That's what we are here today for. You're going to learn all about the feature flags. You're going to learn what they look like, how they work, and all of these different things. But PJ's right. There's a ton of feature flags that are out there. And if you have been following the internet recently, Vercel just recently had their recent I can't remember what the name of the conference is, but they just had like their big annual conference and they announced a whole bunch of feature flag stuff. And when Threads launched like a year ago now, there was all these conversations in chat about people being like, oh, please turn on the feature flag for this. So today you will understand what these feature flag things are and that they're cool. I'm here and PJ is here to make you understand just how cool a flag can be.
That's right. Now, before we get into the flags, Andrew, I want you to introduce yourself a little more completely because I figure everyone knows you because you're extremely popular. But let's learn who you are, what you're doing here, why we got you on the stream, and then we'll get on to some learning. You know what I mean?
I love it. So yeah, I'm Andrew. So I work at a company called DevCycle, which is a feature flag management platform, where I do developer relations for them. So I get to hang out with all y'all developers out there in the world who are doing really, really cool stuff and are looking to do said cool stuff and release continuously in a very cool way using feature flags. So I get to engage with all of that fun stuff. We got music in the background now.
Oh yeah, that was me doing continuous release, not speed up. I realized sometimes it's like, come on, man, wrap it up. I meant like, no, continuous delivery.
This is where you should always prep before people. Always know your hand signals. Yeah, so I do that. But actually, PJ and I met not too long ago because PJ and I share a very interesting similar pathway. We both got into this world of DevRel community education around the same time. We were both teachers before we got into here. And when I found out that there was this awesome series and I watched these open source streams and learned about all the awesome stuff they were doing, I was like, I need to be on here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to follow it because the open source folks were pretty fantastic.
Becca really knows what she's up to. And by the way, Becca, also a former teacher. Currently, we've only had teachers on shows that I've hosted on GitHub Education on Twitch.
We're
amazing.
We're everywhere.
There are dozens of us.
There are dozens of us. So like former teacher, DevRel for a while. Used to work for another company that you might have heard of if you're in the education space called Battlesnake. If you've never heard of Battlesnake before, go and Google it. It is an awesome way for you to learn some really cool programming skills. So you can it's programming, it's language agnostic, technology agnostic. You can kind of go in there and test out some different tools and battle snakes against each other. But
Adam Drummond in the chat loving Battlesnake, saying woo Battlesnake. Look at him.
The cast. Yeah, I love it. And and then Battlesnake, we got acquired by DevCycle about a year and a half ago. And yeah, so I've been happy to kind of be on and sort of repping for Battlesnake and DevCycle ever since, which is pretty fun.
Awesome. This is great. And I think you said you have two things to show us today. One thing, I'm not sure. Yeah, I feel like we have a lot to cover.
Many things. I was like, I got into the office at 7 a.m. this morning and I was like, I need to deliver next level for this GitHub education stream. I need to bring more than just the energy. I need to bring for the youths. I need to bring the memes. So
and our first instance of Toronto slang has landed.
There you go. I should have said that I'm also Canadian if you haven't gathered. What memes from Ich bin it Bach C? You're going to find out. You're about to find out.
Ich bin kein Bot. Oh, that's I'm not a bot in German.
Is it really? That's amazing.
Ich bin kein Bot. I'm not a bot.
All right, so I got some memes. Hey Morgan, I know who's behind the scenes. Could I get my slidey decky up there?
Ooh, a whole slide deck.
A whole slide deck. Don't worry. We're gonna show you codes, but I didn't have a way to show you the memes if it wasn't for the slide deck. So I said this earlier, but I thought it was better demonstrated with a little bit of Mugatu. And if you don't know who Mugatu is, please go Google Mugatu because, as I said, feature flags so hot right now. So I love that this is the first meme that I think I may have ever made, and I hope that it gets popular. Please go and screenshot this and share it. Make this a thing.
Tell the internet about Andrew's meme, y'all. It's very important.
Tell the youths. Tell all the youths.
Right now. If you keep saying youths, man, I swear to God.
Honestly,
those youths, man, they bottom me, fam.
I really, really wanted to wear a backwards baseball cap and carry a skateboard in and just say, "Hello, fellow
Canadians. Hello, fellow Torontons."
It is a meme. Yes, it is. It is definitely
the meme stream for sure.
But I mean, in all seriousness, feature flags are actually really hot right now. And because y'all are learners here, I need to prove this. I need to back up my meme with facts. Is this cap or is it? I'm going too hard. It
is hot. Look.
It is. Like, look at this. So, I mean, It's not a hockey stick quite. I mean, it's like a sideways hockey stick. It's like a hockey stick laying on its long axis.
Yeah.
But like, this is within the last 10 years or 15 years, because 2010 was apparently a million years ago. But like, feature flags kind of weren't really a thing until about like 10, 15 years ago. I mean, they existed, but they weren't as popular. And like, they are so hot right now. Like, feature flags are everywhere. It is legit like a thing that people care about. And even looking just like within the last couple of years, it's gotten super crazy. And I think
that pandemic spike of everything internet related, everything dev related, just going to the moon. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I want to explain why. But like we said before, I like to explain these things in the funnest way possible. And so the memes are not done yet. The memes have not disappeared.
I was worried we were going to be too serious.
I know it was going to go serious, but I like to channel my inner infomercial. PJ and I, we're big infomercial fans. And so I don't know if you remember this commercial from back in the day, Mr. PJ Metz. But wait, there's more.
Wait.
And so I thought that I would upsell feature flags to y'all, not with a meme, not with a graph, but with my innermost showman to come out before we show you what these actually look like. And so here we go. Are you ready for this, PJ?
I'm so ready.
Right, here we go.
So ready.
All right, here we go. All right. What if I told you there was a single development strategy that could help you seamlessly control application behavior, rapidly address bugs and performance glitches, personalize user interactions, implement effective A/B testing, adapt content to regional regulations, and introduce updates in controlled phases?
That would be wild. Is there such a product out there?
There may just be. What might you call such a game-changing developer resource, PJ?
I would call that a miracle, honestly.
Well, you might call it the No More Oops protocol. You might call it a bug buster's best friend. Ooh, the standing desk is going to stand up soon. You might call it a developer's Swiss Army knife. You might call it code control sorcery, the panic button avoider, or miracle as code. But you are definitely going to call it feature flags.
Feature flags. I'm glad that I picked up Miracle. I need you all to know I did not know there was going to be an infomercial in the middle of here, and I was ready to play immediately. And nailed Miracle. It's right there. I didn't know that was there. Fantastic. Andrew, that was high energy. And you know what? Honestly, there's the idea. It does all that. It does all that. It does. It's how you use it, baby.
Yeah,
the No More Oops protocol. That Nubarian loves it.
Yeah. I mean, and this is it, right? Like, I feel like there's all these technologies that are out there right now that are like, they're really simple to like use, and you can implement them in kind of whatever way you want. But feature flagging is like a newish one. And so I figure like explaining what it actually is like it's fun and that's all fun, but like you're all developers here. You want to know what this is actually about. So at the end of the day, feature flagging is just a software development technique that's going to allow for you to change behavior or something that your system or application does without actually changing your source code. So like you can make changes in your code anytime you want. But normally you would have to push it through. And if you are doing software development that is sort of in the CI/CD world and you're using all of these pipelines, sometimes it'll take you like 10 minutes to actually deploy something into production, right? And if you've got like a bug that's taken down all these things and it's costing you like $1,000 a second, you need to get this down immediately. So that's what feature flags are, just a way to do this. And they can be used for a lot of things. Activate specific functionality. They can be used to control visibility of things, to change behavior based on whatever the conditions are. So like these are just basic ways for you to control some function of your application without needing to worry about the source code itself. Does that make sense, PJ?
It does. It sounds like it really is like a very fancy, like for a lot of this, if statement that checks some kind of condition and then does something based on that. Oh, is it this kind of user? Please serve them this version of the website, turning things on and off. Like it really is just a way to like have minute fine detailed control over the things at your website, right? Yeah, there it is, the conditional
100%.
statement.
We didn't plan this, folks. We
I
did
have
not
not
plan
seen
this
presentation. We're just this in tune. He's just this good at, you're this good at explaining it.
We're this good. This is what happens when you both teach. Anyways, but yeah, so this is it. So basically at its core, so like those are what you can do with it, but at its core, it's a conditional statement that toggles something on or off based on a configuration. And like a configuration, just consider it to be like some sort of logic that you want to control who sees something. So like, here's an example. Like we've got this new constant. This is JavaScript. This is not a good program. All the folks that are on my team, when I first did this, they were like, you would never do a program that just did a console log. And I'm like, hold the phone. It's okay. But
every developer I know loves console log.
Absolutely. But here's the idea. So basically you have this feature flag that you create, which is going to be called our new feature. Kind of, this is our configuration. And we're pulling this in from like an environment file. So like if you've ever used an M file, you've probably done this. So we've got something in there that's called new feature. And we're setting that to be true. So this idea here is basically that we're having some sort of a feature that we're setting to on or off based on that configuration in the M file. And then we just have this if statement in your code. So if new feature is true, then show that feature is on. Otherwise, show it that the feature's off. And that's it. Like at a core level, that is all that a feature flag is. Oh, we console log here. It's so true. It's so true.
I have a friend who's learning JavaScript right now, and I'm like, oh, did you try console log the variable? And he's like, what? I was like, it's called testing.
Amazing. Amazing. I discovered recently, I don't know why I hadn't realized this, but there's a console error thing. So, and a console warn, like there's all of these different like additional console logging things. Also, yes, that is the best feature flag. Adam Drummond coming for it. If PJ equals teacher meme, 100,000%. But yeah, this is it. This is what's great. And what I love about this is like, because this is so simple, it's really easy to understand. Like, this is it. This is like, honestly, all that you need to understand about feature flags. But if you go into, like, you can go into a technical interview and you can be like, I understand feature flagging. Here's what it is. And because they're so hot right now, like, these are something that actually is like going to make you stand out when you go into some of these situations. Yeah. Console logs with senior.
This is what the senior does use. Everything else is for freshies.
It's so true.
I have a whole testing suite, and the senior's like, no, just console log inside of the function and see if it actually runs. See, the function never ran. So
100%. 100%. Yeah, so that's what the feature flag looks like. And then there's different kinds of feature flags that kind of exist out there. So there's like, if you are looking at sort of what they might look like, you've got things that are like release flags. So these would be, you're rolling out a new feature, right? So you have a new feature you want to roll out, you're going to use a release flag. It's still a conditional statement. There's just some sort of small things you might change in there. There's things like experiments. So feature flags are huge for experimentation. So maybe you want to send all users that have signed up for your beta down a specific pathway. You can do that kind of using feature flags really easily. And I'll show you what that looks like. Then there's things like permission flags. So this is like gating features. So maybe you want to have like fine grained control over when a new feature rolls out to a specific person, and you can use permissions. And then there's things like operations flag. And I'll show you an example of this today. So this would be like a maintenance mode page that you want to turn on with a feature flag. And just so you know, there's an amazing article called Feature Toggles, aka Feature Flags, over on martinfowler.com. And so if you're like, I'm super excited about feature flags and I want to learn more, there's this amazing article. It's kind of like the standard for feature flags that's over there, and definitely worth checking out. Yeah.
I just tried to post the link as messing around and it didn't work. I got this. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Hey. Oh, you found it. I knew Morgan would find it, but I actually wanted to race Morgan a little bit to see if I could get there first.
I love it.
You're so good, Morgan. You're the best.
Yeah.
Yes, Adam needs to be reminded. What is a feature flag? One more time. It's all of this. It does all these things. It is a on-off switch.
Yeah. It's a toggle.
That says, is this happening? Do this.
Yeah, it's this.
Is this not happening? Don't do it.
Yeah, this is it. So basically you've got some sort of a configuration that you're deciding whether a feature is on or off, and you can decide based on targeting rules or all that stuff. And then you're controlling who sees what with just an if statement. That's literally it. That's the whole thing. And super easy to understand. I'm going to show you this in like every language under the sun today, but super easy. And what's great too, so like feature flags are super easy. But feature flags, because they become so popular, there's now this new industry that's been created called the feature management industry, which is this idea of managing feature flags at scale. So anybody who's used Netlify before, do you know Netlify, PJ?
Oh, I know Netlify.
Yeah. So like Netlify, they use feature flags. eBay uses feature flags, like all of these companies, but they're using like hundreds and thousands of feature flags. So like you need a way, like a platform that can actually help you roll out these feature flags at scale, because you can do it without any platform. You can just use that in code. But if you want to be able to do it at scale, you kind of need a platform that's going to allow for you to do that. And then these are kind of systems that are there to kind of support you doing this with lots of people and across lots of different applications, because you might have a front end, a back end flag. So you might have front end flags, back end flags, mobile flags, all controlled within the same place. And you don't necessarily want to have like multiple systems or like multiple environment files that you're putting stuff into. And so, yeah, feature management has kind of come out of that. And so DevCycle, which where I work, is one of the folks, but like there is a ton of other ones that are out there. In fact, there's actually another feature flag management platform that's part of the Student Developer Pack. I think they're still part of it. ConfigCat, is ConfigCat still part of it? They were part of it for a little while. But let me see. Yeah, I think they are. Let's see.
Just
Get up Student Developer. We're searching this right now. We're doing
this live.
In real times.
Finding on the internet.
Yeah, there we go. Morgan's there. But ConfigCat's still part of that too. But all of these companies. And so like you might have heard of LaunchDarkly because they kind of like made the industry back in like the early 2010s when it became popular. Like LaunchDarkly was the one that made it popular. But all of these companies, some great open source options here. Flipped, Flagsmith, completely open source. Unleash, also fully open source. Like some great program, like all of them. If you Google all, like basically any of these, you'll find their GitHub repositories for everything.
It's so cool that like I feel like this is exemplary of what Kelsey Hightower said one time of like same team, different companies, and the whole point is to help developers do something better. And so yes, like all these companies do feature flags, but here's Andrew going like, yeah, like look, there's a bunch of options. What we really want is for y'all to understand how feature flags work so that all the students watching this right now have a leg up and understand something that they don't now have to go learn as a junior. You show up as a junior going, oh yeah, I know feature flags. I used it. I had the Student Developer Pack. It got me free access to some feature flag software. And I practiced it for a little bit. Even if you're just starting at like 1 instead of 0, it's a massive benefit, huge benefit.
It's huge. It's like version control, right? Like GitHub, Git is like a really simple concept that's so powerful. Like you're a junior going into a company and you understand version control and Git, you are miles ahead. I talked to a co-op student once who was trying to convince their company to adopt version control. And so they had to like pitch GitHub to their company, and they ultimately decided not to go with any version control system. And they were just like SSHing things in and just like doing it all manually.
We just send each other emails with the code file attached. Yeah, it's fine. It works great.
Yeah.
If you do it free locally, then I mean, if you're doing it on your own, it's been KindBot, then nailed it.
But also, in fairness, like you can do Flagsmith. You do not need, it's free. It's totally free, self-hosted. Flipped, totally free, self-hosted. Like I think there's a bunch of other ones that are out there too. Like there's a bunch of language-specific ones that are out there. That, you don't need GitHub Student Developer Pack, but use the GitHub Student Developer Pack.
Honestly,
it's awesome.
It's not the only thing you get with the Student Developer Pack. You get a lot of access to a lot of things. You get Copilot. I'm pretty sure you get some Azure credits on there. You get, there's a million things on there. It's not just feature flags, and that's our tagline. I only use it for the AI stuff. Me too, because I'm lacking in my own intelligence, and I need someone else to help me out. All right, Andrew. Tell us more.
No, you're good. I mean, we're almost done with kind of the slide deck, and then we'll look at some code and we'll go see if I messed that up. But it's funny because it builds on to like what you were saying about like different companies, same team. So there's actually this new open standard that's just been created called Open Feature. So it's a few years old now, part of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. And so they are this new standard in feature flagging. So it used to be that everybody had their own way of doing feature flags. Now Open Feature is kind of creating this standard, this vendor agnostic standard for using feature flags, and it basically allows for you to avoid industry like lock-in. So like you can come and try DevCycle and use the open feature providers that we have. And then maybe you want to switch to something free. Maybe you're no longer a student and you don't get access to, by the way, all the crazy free options that you get with DevCycle. So you get like access to a ton of feature flags. And if you ever go over your feature flags, like you're like, oh, there's too many evaluations, you reach out to me and then I like make it work. I smooth things out for you.
Ooh,
but yeah, you just sign up.
The iron, y'all.
They call me the iron. Yeah, but open feature, brand new, and sort of is here to kind of have this open standard in there. It's amazing. And we love open feature. We're big open feature fans. I'm rocking an open feature, the feature flag fix.
Are you really?
Morgan. Yeah, I'm rocking an open feature toggle shirt, which makes no sense out of context. People are just like, it's just a toggle. I'm like, it's a logo.
It looks like the thing you put over your camera that you can like slide close so that way you have privacy.
100%. Yeah, but that's kind of open feature. So it's there. We're going to kind of you'll see open feature a couple times today. But y'all want to see some code? Y'all want to see
it's code
flags?
time.
It's
I'm
code
so
time.
ready.
All right.
What language are we writing in today?
So this is what I love. Is chat's going to get to choose. So let me show you something cool. Let me show you
Rockstar. We're writing in Rockstar.
We're writing in Rockstar.
Have you seen Rockstar language? We'll talk about that at the end of the stream.
I have not. Okay, so let me pull this over. So, all right. So I think Morgan's got some of these up, but we have, so this is the DevCycle like landing page that you go in there. So you can land here. But this is not.
Could you zoom in a little bit on the screen, like command plus a little?
Can.
Perfect. Thank you.
So this is where you might land, but if you're looking to land and you're like, I don't want to sign up for your account, I want to take advantage of the GitHub education offer. All you got to do is go to devcycle.com/GitHub-education, and you'll get presented with this tasty little screen here, little DevCycle logo, little GitHub logo, all of the information on signing up here. And this basically just puts you through the sign up gateway. It tags you in our system and says like they are a student. And so you can go in there, sign up, and then you can see here. So it gets you like unlimited usage on our starter plan. And like, if you look at our starter plan is like, if
$20 a month. Whoa.
It's like $20 a month, but like you get unlimited usage, right? So like you're getting like a ton of monthly active users, like 1,000 monthly active users. It says 10,000 free events. So these are like the evaluations, but again, you get unlimited on here. And like the great thing here is like you've got an unlimited number of feature flags either way, like 1,000 monthly active users, even if you're just kind of getting started here. So there's some really great, like if you're getting started with feature flags and you want to try out a feature management platform, this is a really cool way to do it. The upside to this over like some of the other open source stuff is like if you're not super comfortable spinning something up on say like Docker or some of these other platforms, this you can just kind of go and play around with feature flags and we worry about all the back end stuff. But same with ConfigCat, they do the same thing. They have that awesome GitHub education deal. And so there's some really great stuff there as well. So GitHub education, like our devcycle.com/GitHub education, click on this button here. They'll put a little URL parameter in there when you sign up and it'll bring you through to here. Interested into DevCycle. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, like it's basically unlimited. I mean, we give you unlimited usage as part of the GitHub Student Developer Pack. So, and if you ever like hit a limit and you were like, oh, what's going on? Like you never actually need to be worried. Like I'm here and anytime you email DevCycle, it's like at DevCycle Education, it goes to me. And then like I deal with all of the things for you. So we want you to try feature flags. We're here to support students. We want you to learn the technology. We're not here to like do a gotcha that was there.
You only get it for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, we can't give it away for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. But you can renew, like as long as you're a student, I'm pretty sure you can renew GitHub education deals, right?
Every year? Education you can keep renewing. Yeah,
exactly.
Every year, I think.
Yeah. And the great thing too is because we're open feature compliant, like let's say you finish as a student, then you can actually just like switch to another provider that's free. So if you don't want to pay, you can just like, we want you to go and use feature flags. We're not super worried It'd be awesome if you stayed with DevCycle, but like this isn't about
like that very much, of course.
But this isn't about that. This is about you exploring new and awesome technologies. And so, it's worth trying out. But here's the great thing. So, and this is the thing that when I reached out to Morgan and I was like, I want to come on here because we actually launched some stuff fairly recently that was aimed at making the onboarding process for students easier. So it used to be that with most of these platforms, there's sort of an onboarding process that shows you how to use it, but you kind of got to follow this step-by-step tutorial. And we wanted to make this so easy for you to start understanding how these things work. And so what's great is now you sign up for the platform. Again, it's free. Even if you're not part of the student pack, like you get up to a certain number. And then if you're part of the student developer pack, but you'll get presented with this 2-minute onboarding thing to show you how our platform works, but also to show you what feature flags look like in different programming languages. So I'm going to show you one thing quick. But we found a bug this morning, so I'm not going to focus on it too much. So maybe you don't feel comfortable doing things outside of a cloud IDE, like you love using code spaces, you love using like Replit and things like that. So you actually don't even need to install anything to try this. You can literally just click on this, I want to launch a code playground. It's going to open up a playground for you to start exploring feature flags in code. That said, it's in TypeScript. And if anybody's ever watched any stream that I've ever done, you will know that me and TypeScript have a strained relationship. So I'm not here for TypeScript. I mean, I believe in TypeScript. I believe strongly typed languages are necessary, but not today. Not today. Not today, Satan. Not today. So what's great too is when you sign up, you can sort of select languages you're comfortable with. And one of the things that I had a big hand in doing was I was like, I want students that are coming in to try feature flags to not have to learn a new language to try to learn this whole new technology. And so we actually built out like, I think 30 different example apps in different languages that let you get started with this.
Wow. So like, yeah.
So here are like, these are recommended for me because I like selected that I was a PHP fan and I was a JavaScript fan and I was a Vue.js fan. And so you can actually click on that show example app thing here. And then maybe you're done with these. Maybe you're a mobile developer. Maybe you like doing that kind of stuff. You can literally just click on these and it's going to walk you through the process. And we're going to do this live because it's really, really cool.
All right, let's learn some Kotlin.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not Kotlin.
No, we're yeah. What do people want to see? I'm a big PHP fan, so I'm always here to show PHP stuff.
And also that's with open feature too.
It is, yeah. So that's
really kind of cool.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's go and look at the PHP open feature just so you can
Kotlin.
kind of see.
Everyone hates Kotlin.
And everyone's maybe not. I love that. Just the all caps. The all caps.
No, not Kotlin. Yeah. All right, also, PHP open feature, I think.
PHP is having its moment right now. So Laravel technically is having its moment. But let's go look at the PHP stuff. Okay, so here's what you do. First things first, you click on this button. I know it's hard to do, but you just click on the button.
I'm already lost.
I know. Okay, so here's what's really freaking cool. And this is the coolest onboarding process I've ever seen. So you get this curl command, right? I'm going to go and copy this. It's going to copy this code snippet. And then I'm going to head over to my, not this one. I'm going to copy it over to this one. Let me full screen this for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And I got my terminal here and I'm literally just going to click here and I'm going to paste this curl command. And what this is going to do is as long as you have curl installed on your computer, which you should, it is actually going to go over and it's going to create this repository, this example repository on your device. This is live. This is live on my device right now. That happened in, how long was that? Like 2 seconds?
I couldn't even count. It was the fastest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And then it loads up.
The Usain Bolt of commands.
The Usain Bolt. And you can see here, so now I've got this DevCycle PHP open feature example, and I can copy this and I'll CD into here. Actually, I'm just going to open this. Let me open and let me go desktop documents. Is it in here? I can never remember. I think it's in here. I don't know where you are. Where are you hiding, mice?
Where did you go?
There it is. It's
there we go.
In my March folder?
In the March folder.
I don't know what's going on there. All right, so here it is. So this is literally our code right here. It automatically loads in this server key, which is the SDK key, which is really important for kind of like talking to the platform. And then this is literally it. This is the whole example app here that we have here. And how can I prove that this is the example app? Well, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to mess with some, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to mess with some code. Just like really, I'm going to go into here, just into my app description. I'm going to put like a little paragraph here. I'm just going to say, hello, PJ. PJ. And then let's put a little wave in there. Let's get that wave in there. And because I've also got Copilot running, you'll notice that there's some nice little stuff happening. Let me zoom in here. That's a little bit too small. And I'll go here.
This is good.
There we go. So now I've got that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Saved that. And now let's go over here to our, let's go back over here to our app. And you'll notice here, if I refresh this, because it's server side, look at that. We got a nice little hello PJ. So like this is our live production, literally loaded up in just a couple seconds, and it's working. And now what's really cool is like, I'm going to use rectangle here. And if you don't use rectangle, start using rectangle because it's awesome. It's like a window controller for Mac. But I'm going to go here and I'm going to put that on right half and left side. So here I've got my sample app with my hello PJ in there, and I've got this sort of demo app, and then I've got this button here that says start demo. So now let me zoom this out a little bit. So you can see here that we've kind of got, this is like an example of the DevCycle platform and kind of how things power tools. Windows, I just moved to be a fully Mac developer, and my life has gotten infinitely better. Infinitely. But yeah, so basically like the DevCycle platform, our feature flags are actually called variables. And so you can have a whole bunch of variables that are under a single feature, because most of the time, like one feature is going to be made up of multiple parts like we have here. So we're going to say our sort of demo is our feature. And then we've got variables. And we've got 3 variables that are in here. We've got one that's our example text variable, which is a string. We've got a togglebot speed variable, which is also a string. And then we've got a togglebot wink variable, which is a Boolean. And then we've got a bunch of different variations that these can be. So Boolean, on or off. With our example text, we can have different steps. And I'll show you this in the code in a second. But this like walks you through the process of getting started. So, and now at the bottom here, so we've got our different variations and variables, and then we've got our targeting. And this is what feature flag management platforms are really good at, is helping you target who you want to see something. So we've got this targeting set up to show all users our base variation. So that's going to show them togglebot speed. He's not going to be moving. He's going to be winking. And he's going to have whatever this example text is going to be step 1. So let's go down here, and it's going to say, try updating it by toggling to our spin variation. So PJ, what do you think will happen in our spin variation?
My chair will uncontrollably spin me around.
Absolutely it will. So we literally click that, click next. And because it's server side, it doesn't automatically load, but we're going to refresh this. And now you'll notice that now our togglebot is spinning a little bit. He's no longer winking because togglebot wink, that feature flag has been turned to false. He's spinning slow, and now he's got some different text up here. So if we go back to the base variation, he was saying, let me change back there and refresh my page. So here he was saying like, hello, nice to meet you, because that was our step 1 example text. But now if we change to spin, we're going to now refresh here, and it's going to say, awesome, look at you go, because he's spinning. But now maybe we want to add a 3rd variation. So we can actually do that up here. We're going to create a new variation. We're going to call this PJ's variation.
Wonderful. I finally own something.
And we've got our step 3 text. We've got our togglebot speed set to fast. Or do we want to do something different? So
off axis. Yeah, I love a little.
And then we're going to set our, do we want him winking? Is PJ's variation a winking variation?
I feel like he's winking. He's saying winking. Like, check me out. I'm off axis.
All right. And PJ, what are we going to need to change? What's the last thing? So we've got our variation set up. We got PJ's variation is in there. But all of our users, I think, need to be targeted to your variation, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So let's go down here. We're going to change the spin variation to PJ's variation.
There it is.
And we're now going to go over here and refresh this. Oh, what's up?
That's really cool. I do like that spin.
That's very much. And so like, this is the onboarding process to feature flagging for you right now, which I think is just freaking cool. Because
now, you didn't change any code, right? It's just like you're just taking
code.
flags and flipping them on and off.
Exactly. So let's go look at what those look like in the code. So let's go back over here and we can look at some things that we have. So in here, we've got our index. So this is like when you're in PHP, I'll zoom this in a little bit. Index is kind of like where all the magic is happening here. So we're pulling in a couple of things. The first thing we're doing is we're pulling in the DevCycle client. So this is sort of how DevCycle is kind of how your application, the SDK, is talking to the DevCycle platform to get the information. And because this is an open feature compliant version as well, we also have the open feature client. And so basically what we're doing is, so you can have both of these in here and you can plug and play from DevCycle to LaunchDarkly to ConfigCat to anybody else that you want there. And then we're basically here just kind of feeding in some user information into here. And then from there, we're able to use it throughout our application. And so the big places that we're using this are places like our description. So the description, if you remember from the code sample that we had, so our description here, we had like our welcome to DevCycle example app if you got through here, but we had our new variation. We're going to change this to step 3. Let me go back here if I can. Oh, it's going to take me out of a new feature. But anyways, that's not super important. So where the actual feature is right here. So here we're saying, go into our open feature client and grab the string value that's associated with the example text variable. And then we're going to feed in our open feature context, which is information about our user. And worst case scenario, we're going to feed back example text that would say default. So you basically have 3 parameters here. The first one is the key for your variable that's in the system. Your second one is the default value in case the targeting rules don't work. And the third one is information about the user that's in there. And you can see here, we've got this switch statement. So let's say step returns that step 1, like we saw before, it's going to return, this is your header text and this is your body text. If it's step 3, it's going to return this text here. And so this was actually our kind of text that you saw on our example app when we were in there. And then we're able to use this in different places again. So if we go over to our toggle bot, you can see here, we're gathering all of our features. We're getting the get string value again, but this time for the toggle bot speed or the Boolean value for the toggle bot wink. And then again, you're just kind of using these new variables that you've created to show different things in your application. So we've hard coded all of the different things that are going to happen, but we're controlling it through our feature flag platform.
That's dope. It's just a switch case.
Literally like it's just, and you could do if else statements in here. It's super easy to get started with these things. And because this is open feature compliant, all of the different things that you're going to be doing are going to be exactly the same. You're going to have the get Boolean value. You're going to have the default values. You're going to feed in the context, and it just works. It just works. Yeah. So this is kind of the example app. And then if you go back over to like our platform, you'll notice that it was trying to get us to go and look at our full feature. So like here, very similar to what we saw before, you can see we've got our different variation. We've got PJ's variation because it actually created, let me zoom this in a little bit more. It actually created all of this stuff inside of our application, inside of our account on the DevCycle platform. And then you've got access to all of the things, including these targeting rules. So maybe now I want to change this back from PJ's variation back to the spin variation. I can go in here, I can click save, and then I can go back into my application. And if I refresh this, it's now going to be back to that spin variation again. So that example app that we went through with that easy to use dashboard is there. What's the exact difference between just setting variables in the PPC? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So instead of having it with features. So if you do it in the code, so let's say you want to just hard code that. So let me go back to our code here. So if we wanted to do, instead of saying open feature client, get string value, toggle speed off, or toggle bot wink, and we just wanted to say wink equals true. Let's go in there. Let's just say wink equals true. And now if I go back to my application, you're going to see that our wink, that he's always going to be winking. So if we go back here, spinning right now, he's always winking. So if I want to change this right now, I need to go into my source code. And like, if you're just doing this locally, or you're doing it in a project that's just you, that's awesome. Super easy. It's a single push. But if you've got CI, if you've got CD, if you've got all of these things set up, you're going to have like a deployment pipeline that's going to take a while to land. So having your ability to control it from a separate place is going to be a lot easier than having to go in and change your source code. And you get a lot more targeting rules. So maybe I want to show wink just to PJ, and I want to show non-wink just to Andrew. I can't do that if I'm hard coding it really easily, because you can't target that way really easily on the platform. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. Also, apparently people want to wink at me all the time, and I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, another question.
Yeah, I love it. Nice. Super easy. Yeah, do you want to see? We got about 10 minutes left, I think, probably.
10 minutes, yeah.
So I'll show you an example of putting this into a brand new code base. So I've got one set up for you that I think you're going to enjoy. So let me close down PHP. We don't like PHP.
Get out of here, PHP.
Get out of here, PHP. But I know y'all are React fans.
Isn't everyone?
So I have...
And can you zoom in again on that?
I can. So I have got a brand new React app that I just spun up using npx create React app, right? So like you go to like the React app setup, and what is it? npx create React app. I think that's still a thing. Yeah, create new React app. Hold on. Yes, here it is. So I basically ran this command on my device, and it gave me this. So I've got an app running. I want to now add DevCycle into this application, or a feature flag management platform. So all you really need to do, if you go to our docs, which is just docs.devcycle.com, you would go to the SDKs page. You would choose whatever your language and framework is. We actually have a React specific SDK. You're going to click on here. It's going to say installation. And then it's literally choose your favorite package manager and go. So it's like just grab npm install save DevCycle React Client SDK. And then let's actually go back into our code, and you'll see here, like I've run that. So I've got my React Client SDK. Does that track so far? So basically brand new React project we've installed using just npm or yarn into our project. And I'll zoom in when we're going through and actually doing this. So here's our app, default base app. Let's say we want to add a maintenance mode page to our application. So let's say we want to be able to immediately turn it off. Let's say we're getting DDoSed and we're like, we don't want to get charged a ton of money for this. Like, we need to turn this off immediately for like, maybe there's something showing in your application. So here's all you need to do to add this into your React app. Step one is you're going to need to do a couple of imports. So let me zoom in here. So here's the imports, two things you're importing. You're going to import the provider. This is sort of the way that DevCycle talks to your application. That's that hook. And then you're going to also import the use variable value hook, which is similar to that get Boolean value or get string value when we were looking at the open feature provider. This one's just DevCycle. So the language is a little bit different. So you're going to do those two import statements. Following so far, PJ, does this make sense? All right. Yeah. And if you're in here and you're asking this question that noob in, just like, feel free to stop me if you're not getting it. So here we go. We do some import statements. Next up, we're going to head down to our export, and we're going to use that with DevCycle provider, and we're going to feed in our SDK key. So we're going to get that over on the DevCycle platform. You basically find that by going to app.devcycle.com. There's like a big key that's at the very top here. If I'm zoomed out enough, you'll see this. Let me see if that shows it. There we go. You'll see this key here. You would just click on this view SDK key thing. And I think, yeah. And then it's just going to give you the different keys for your project. So you would just like, I would grab that client side key because it's React. And I'm going to go over to our thing here. I'm going to put this SDK key in there. And now you're actually ready to use DevCycle in your platform. And then now if we want to go in here and we want to add a maintenance page, two things we need to do. One line of code to create a maintenance mode variable, which is going to go and look inside of our DevCycle platform where we've created one of those new string Boolean variables that's called maintenance dash mode. And we're going to say pull from the DevCycle platform for my environment to make that maintenance mode return true or false, because this is Boolean. And then once we've done that, we're just going to basically create this thing to do. So this is going to say if maintenance mode is false. Actually, I want to be if maintenance mode is true. Yeah, if maintenance mode is true, we're going to return this maintenance mode page. Otherwise, we're going to return our default page. So it's literally just like wrapping a return in this maintenance mode feature flag. Again, just that if else statement. Super simple, super easy. And now if I save this and I go back over to my application, I refresh this, nothing changed, right?
Right.
Why didn't anything change, PJ? Do you know?
Because the variable is false right now, right?
Exactly.
When you declared it as false.
Yeah. So what do we need to do? We were talking about it earlier. Targeting rules, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We need to figure out who's going to get served that.
Exactly. So let's head over to our application. I'm going to go through this stuff again really quickly. Maybe I don't need to, actually. I think I just go into here, skip through there. Awesome. So now...
Wait, where are you? We're still looking at the React app.
Let me pull this over to here. So here we are in our DevCycle app. So the page that we saw before was this new Hello Togglebot where we had our sort of different variables. Mm-hmm. Now, I had already gone in here and I'd created another feature in the system that I'd called maintenance mode. And so it's just like literally maintenance mode feature. These are super easy to create. I can literally go in here, create new feature. I would create like a Boolean, a release. This would be an operational flag. So I could click there. I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to call this one maintenance mode 2. And that's going to be my feature flag there. Set it as Boolean. Going to create that in the system. And so now I've got this maintenance mode 2 that has 2 configurations, true or false, on or off. Makes sense so far?
I'm in.
Awesome. And now if I scroll down to my targeting rules for my development environment, because that's the key that I grabbed my development environment key, client key right here. I'm going to go and I'm going to change for the development environment. I want to say, for all users, I want to show targeted configuration 1, which will be my true or my maintenance mode on. Yeah. I'm going to click save there. And all that I've got to do now is because I changed my key in the system here from maintenance mode to maintenance mode 2. I'm going to, maintenance mode 2. Let's save that. And then back to our React app. And look at that. We've got a maintenance mode page.
Oh my God, it was already there.
Yeah, in real time. So let's go back and let's actually show this. Let's get our rectangle up here again. And let me grab this one again and pull this over to the other side because it's real time that this happens. So we just turned on maintenance mode. Maybe we want to make this even easier. And maybe I want to rename this to maintenance mode on.
Oh, yeah.
And then
naming things is very important.
It is very important. And then I'm going to change this one to maintenance mode off. Awesome. Click update. And I'm going to save this here. And now I'll just go back down to my targeting rules. I'm going to change this to maintenance mode off. Click save. And in real time, just a second, my React app is going to update. Yeah. Right. So like real time.
On the local host.
On local host. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we've built these things. We have a Next.js specific SDK, our React SDK. It's all meant to be real time for you to be able to use. Not all of them do it. Like some of our server side stuff doesn't do this, but that's it. That is it. That's all. That's easy. And again, it's like creating this is as easy as what you just saw. You go in, this is what you're going to see here. You're going to see like your main page. You just click that create new feature. You get this choose your kind of flag here. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's all going to be the same. Call it whatever you want to call it. Create that feature. It automatically creates it in the system and you're good to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we're talking, we have 2 questions that I think are going to be cool. So Adam Drummond said, is it pulling from an API? And we're going to come back to Ikman Kindbot's question.
Yeah.
Is it pulling from an API? In my mind, it's like, it's not quite an API, but how often is it like checking to see if the flag's on or off? That's interesting to me. But yeah, how's this working behind the scenes, do you think?
Yeah, so it's not calling from an SPK,
there's an SDK, right?
Yeah, it's basically server-side event. So yes, if you go to our docs, so if you go to docs.devcycle.com, you'll see here that it actually gives you a link to our API docs. We have a management API and a bucketing API, which basically control creating features and then who sees the features. So it's basically polling this on a regular basis. But honestly, what it's doing for things like React is it's keeping a connection open there. So it's always open and waiting for there to be an update on the DevCycle platform to go and tell your app, like, go and update this thing. We have other ones where it's like server sent events where it's not like a purely open connection, but yeah, so there is an API. You can use our API and build your own dashboards and stuff like that. But like you have our platform that's there as well if you want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ikman Kindbot said on their Twitch bot that they currently have stores it in a file whether it should be allowed or activated. Is it possible to interact with these features with code? But then would it make sense because it depends on an external provider? In my mind, that's entirely possible.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. You can put this in a Discord bot really easily. And then you can, instead of having to deploy to your Discord bot, you can just go in and like toggle something on the DevCycle platform and boom, you're good to go. It's super, super, super easy to do it. And then the great thing here too is like, let's say you do a string variable, right? So let's say we go in here and we create a new feature. I'm going to call it a release. I'm going to change this to a string variable or maybe a JSON variable because I want to have a bunch of stuff in there. I can set the key and the name and all the rest of the stuff to whatever I want. And then I could even have responses from Shania Bot programmed in DevCycle. So you can just continually add new phrases that Shania Bot's going to say.
Oh man. And then Ikman Kindbot had an add-on to the previous question we were talking about. They were asked, is it by WebSocket? Is it using WebSocket to see these things?
Yeah, it's a good question. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100,000% sure. Come over to our Discord afterwards and I can get one of our folks to answer the question for you. If you go to the DevCycle docs or our website, there's a Discord icon that's on here. Click it, join it. Everyone from our company is on there. So, no, it's polling the API. Sorry, I just got somebody in my chat. So they just said, no, not polling the API, but getting the configs from the CDN only when there's an update. Oh, that's right. We use a CDN. We use Cloudflare. Jeez, I can't believe I forgot that.
Cloudflare.
Yeah. So yeah, we're using a CDN for all of this stuff. It's completely spaced in my brain. Thanks, Parth. Thanks for being in chat. And I'm glad my phone was on. Yeah. So we're using Cloudflare workers to do all of that kind of stuff.
Not sponsored.
Yeah.
So following the question with the API, how does it scale with the user base? Obviously, if you've only got a few users, not a big deal, but does a larger user base affect it?
No, because we're using Cloudflare. I'm glad that we had the Cloudflare conversation. So yeah, because we're using Cloudflare scales like infinitely. So does a platform like DevCycle. And there's lots of ways that you can work things around. So it definitely scales. Like if you use Netlify right now, like that's got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of users. They use our feature flags in their platform. So like anytime you're accessing a new feature on Netlify for however many of users are on there, you're using DevCycle in production and you're seeing that. So it 100% scales.
We don't care if Cloudflare cries.
Exactly.
Parth, I saw you tried to post a link there. It just shows up as the 3 dots for us. If you throw some spaces in the URL, people will be able to use it then. That's how we get around the rules, because we don't want people spamming URLs at us.
Yeah, and this is all in our docs. Like if you go over there, there's a great introduction in there, and I think that's what he's linking through to. It actually shows our system architecture, so like how all of this stuff is happening in there. If you want to learn more kind of about how these things work, go and check that out. This is what he's linking to right here, so definitely worth checking out.
Thanks, Parth. Andrew, what a stream this has been, and one of the easiest streams I've ever done, because I just had to be the person in the infomercial that's like, feature flags, what's that? Well, this will save me tons of time. And it's exciting to see you doing things like this, because again, both former teachers, and to see how quickly and how well you've gotten into DevCycle, you really understand it, and it's just fantastic to work with you. I really can't believe that we get to be internet colleagues, that we get to do this talk that we're doing together. And for those of you who don't know, Andrew and I are shipping a talk around. We're going to be at a couple different places. We'll be at that conference end of July. We'll be at We Are Developers in Berlin in July. We will be at
HackCon
in August. We are really, 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 really out there talking about developer experience and how it relates to education. And it's just so clear that you're just crushing it over there. I'm so glad I get to call you colleague and friend. Like, this has been an excellent stream. Thank you for coming on. Any last words, Andrew? Anything that we got to tell the people about?
I mean, all that I want to say is you're here, you're in the right place to learn these things. Reach out to any of us. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about PJ, I'm talking about Morgan, I'm talking about all the folks from GitHub Education that are on here. Ask questions. That's it. That's what's going to help you in this world. Please, if you've got any questions or want to use DevCycle, reach out to me, at me on Discord. I'm here to help. I want you to start using feature flags in your applications. PJ, you're a rock star, man. I cannot wait to see you in a month in real life. And thanks, chat, for being here and being so active. I love it. Thanks, GitHub. You rock.
Absolutely. And we'll talk more about Rockstar language next time. And I guess Morgan said any final memes. I will let all of you watching know that there is a GIF of me at a University of Florida football game from back in 2012. And if any of you can find it, maybe we'll send you a GitHub t-shirt. So the first person to find that and message me on Twitter, if you find the GIF of me at a football game, and that's all I'm telling you, good luck. First person to do it gets a t-shirt code from me for a GitHub t-shirt, and you do it on Twitter at Metzing Around. Find me. Love y'all so much. Andrew, let's high five. Hold on.
It's been real. Let's do it. Into the camera.
Boom!
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good one.